Well, we've started. So good evening, everyone. It's me and Jim again, doing some more nosing and tasting. How you doing, Jim?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
Excellent. No, I'm great. I'm really looking forward to this evening because you've been educating me in rum all this time, and then we're doing a wee bit something different tonight. So tell us what we're doing tonight.
So tonight, seeing as we've been, like you say, doing a journey through rum with different maturations and different sort of areas, time zones, etc., we're actually having a look at some of the more available single malts that have been matured in or sometimes finished in uh, rum casks.
Excellent. So back into my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, hopefully, I'll not be asking you so many questions tonight, Jim. So,
No.
no, I'm looking at the ones that you've sent over as well, and there looks to be some crackers. But we'll also be tasting the Outlaw flagship as well, of course.
Yeah. And so what we can do is we can see where the main characters come through. Obviously, you know quite a bit about some of these distilleries, so
Yeah.
you and some like this will be the first time I've ever tried a tomatin before, but I have
Right.
tried Balvenie couple Caribbean cask. So yeah, it'll be the Outlaw flagship, Balvenie Caribbean cask, 14 years, the Glenlivet Caribbean cask, and then the Tomatin 2007 limited edition. That's been aged for at least 9 years, it says, in a Caribbean rum cask.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
not
we've
a finish. That's a complete maturation, isn't it?
at least at least 9 years they're saying on the label.
Yeah.
And then there's a Glen Murray as well, which is a small batch, but that's done in rum agricole casks. So that'd be interesting because that's a really strong flavour. We struggled to really enjoy the rum agricole when we tried it a while back. So it'd be interesting to see how whiskey does in that really strong, because the rum agricole was quite sharp. It wasn't, you didn't get a lot of ester, but it was very strong. So it'd be interesting to see how that one comes through.
Yeah, well, it'll be good for me as well because I'm pretty up to speed with my Balvenies and Glen Marys. Know a bit about Glenlivet, not so much about Tomatin. It's not really been on my radar. I've got a couple of Tomatins on the shelf there. I've got a 14, a Legacy, and I've got an 18 somewhere that I haven't opened. So I've got a few Tomatins, but not really been on my radar. So this will be quite interesting to have a look at all these ones and kind of compare it to the Outlaw as well.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. It's a whiskey night, so that's always good. So what we're going to start with?
And whiskey night and the new addition to the family.
Oh, that's a nice glass. Has it got a sort of lump on the bottom?
Oh, so it's got a bit. I'm going the wrong way. I'm looking at them. So it's got a bit of a dimple on the bottom, like the original tumblers. But it's
that looks nice.
So I'll be dropping off a couple with you just so that you can have them for that.
Oh, just for research purposes, because I've got my glass up here. I should have been using it, but yeah. And of course my little dagger.
Yes, you're.
Did I tell you? Did I tell you when you gave me it? I took it home and quite silly. I thought I'd see how sharp it was.
Oh no!
Yeah, cut my finger. So it's sharp. Anyway, so great. So is that a Balvenie you've got in your glass here then, Jim?
Yeah, it's a Balvenie 14-year-old Caribbean cask. So it's
okay. So we're starting with that because it's like if you say to anybody, "Have you tried a whiskey in a rum cask?" and nearly everybody knows about Balvenie Caribbean, Balvenie 14-year-old. Now, I'd quite often say to people, "Stop mucking about with Balvenie. Just give it to me as a 12-year-old double wood because it's a beautiful whiskey." But I'm quite partial to a Caribbean cask as well. So,
yeah, okay.
So, what do you think about this one then?
This one, I'm getting those sort of those pear drops, some of those ester notes.
It's quite fruity, but it's quite woody as well.
You get wood at the end, but I'm getting a little bit of, would you dare say it, pineapple cubes.
All right, okay.
A little bit of pineapple
tropical
cubes
fruit.
in there in the middle.
It's a little bit more woody and musty than I would say my Balvenie 12 is.
Okay.
And I think what they do is it's a 12-year-old and then 2 years in our Caribbean rum cask, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
Not sure, but it still smells like a whiskey. Smells like a single malt. It's got that Balvenie notes on it.
Right. So
But it's a little bit woody and musty.
is it the other Balvenis in the range? You would still get some of those esters, or is it really just the sort of that wood note that you?
No, I get for Balvenie for me is quite creamy, quite toffee, quite fruity.
Oh, okay.
And not so much wood on the 12-year-old, but this is a bit woody, and you get that sweetness coming through as well, which the Balvenies normally have. But I mean, Balvenie for me is just your what could I say? Quintessential Space cider. It's just gorgeous.
Yeah.
So this is slightly different. Oh well, Slange.
Slange, right? Yeah, there's that wood. Very light.
Oh, there's that Balvenie with a spicy note. A little bit extra wood. You know, I don't know if it's just my imagination, but I think I get that rum influence after being educated by you over rum. That's a lovely dram, though. It's really creamy finish, toffee finish, and quite fruity, but a bit of spiciness and a bit of bite to it.
Yeah, I'm getting some creaminess.
Yeah,
sort of on the end there, and then you get the spice just coming on the side of the tongue.
It's almost like creamy toffee, isn't it?
Yeah.
And honeyish sweet. That's lovely. I mean, Balvenie is a fantastic dram anyway.
Yeah, it's my favourite of the sort of more available Dufton ones. You know, some of the Mortlachs or some of the Petit Vier, if you can get them. I've tried a few of those, and those have been good. But yeah, the more available is definitely the Doublewood or the Portwoods.
Yeah, and this is a 43%, isn't it?
So you're getting a little bit more there, but that's the same as our sort of special release.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have to say I wouldn't pick this over the 12-year-old.
Okay.
Quite like that Doublewood, but I can see the influence that's coming in out of the rum cask for that extra 2 years. And I can see how some people would really go for that. Me, I'd prefer to stick with the 12, but that's a lovely dram. Yeah, really nice. Get the influence of the rum cask there. And you could see that extra 2 years gives it a bit more maturation, but because it's got a little bit more woodiness. But yeah, lovely. So you like that one?
I do. I do find I'm still, to be honest, the rum notes on that are very soft. You get some on the nose, but not really very much at all on the taste.
No, for me, it's more the extra maturation, giving it a little bit more woodiness, and maybe the spiciness coming from the rum cask. I'm not sure, but not a huge rum effect.
No, not really. Although
not when you smell the flagship.
No, because
the rum, it's.
I forgot the flagship now.
But then that does have that woodiness for me there, that fruity notes. I do love the colour of the flagship. Gorgeous, isn't it? And there's another flagship coming out, Jim. Is that the second batch just out?
Second batch just landed. We're getting to the point now, actually, where we've only got a pallet left of the original bottling. So yeah, we're really starting to make some inroads in that. And of course, the double cast, which will just be dropped off to you shortly.
Yeah. Now that got a great review from was it the Aberdeen Whisky Shop?
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, very complimentary.
Yeah.
But they're very honest as well. It's
they're good supporters, aren't they?
Yeah.
But yeah, so that flagship, much more woody, fruity notes. Man, I can really tell the difference between whiskey and rum now.
Yeah, because I'm getting, taking a little sip of the Outlaw, the flagship. You're getting some of that like green apple or apple. You're getting some more fruity notes, and then you just get a lot more cream or sort of caramel stroke toffee.
I'm getting the really orange citrusy notes today. It's when you do it relative to other drinks. So I'm not getting any citrus orange notes on the Balvenie.
No.
Notes that I kind of get off Glenmorangie, for instance. But I'm getting that on the rum.
I get like pear drops and esters. I'm getting a lot of them off the Balvenie.
Off the Balvenie, yeah, it's the fermentation. Oh, Balvenie's nice, yes. But they're just completely different drinks, aren't they?
Absolutely.
But I think what I'm learning, what I have learned over the last wee while, is that rum's not just for sticking Coke into as well. This is a sipper, like a single malt.
Very much so, and that's that was our whole premise. So, and actually, in dealing with and trying to give not a yardstick, but a measure of where we wanted our base spirit, we turned around and said, Balvenie Doublewood. What would you do if you were going to compete with that in a blind tasting? This is what you need to, and that's what we made sure that we were aligning ourselves with what is thought across the international spectrum as being a very premium, drinkable, sipping,
similar quality. Yeah. But the Outlaws actually got a more fuller mouthfeel as well.
I'm getting a longer taste on it with a bit more depth to it. Yeah.
Yeah, not oily, but that kind of coating on the mouth.
Yeah.
The Outlaw's given more of a coating and a longer finish.
Yeah.
And that's a really orangey finish for me at the moment. That's good.
Maybe I haven't put the log burner on. Maybe I'm not getting the citrus out because it's not warm enough yet.
It's not warm enough up in freezing glass.
Exactly, yeah. The wind chill factor is -20, yeah.
Oh. Well, I went out today and it was 11 in Elgin.
Yesterday it was 14 when I walked dogs at night, so I was walking around nearly in a t-shirt, and then this morning
I'm out in my shorts today. Can't see it, but I've got my shorts on. So it's almost summer down here on the Murray Riviera.
There you go.
There you go. Brilliant. So what are we going to have next then, Jim? What should we go for next?
I think the Glenlivet. Let's try that one.
Okay.
Give that one. Now, this one hasn't been fully matured as in for years. It's not stating how long it's been in, but it's 40% versus others which are a little bit higher. The Balvenie's 43.
Uh-huh.
So again.
So this is it's non-age statement.
No,
it's only a portion of it that is finished in the Caribbean Reserve, Caribbean rum cask. But you see, Jim, that's just Glenlivet to me.
I'm getting a lot of sherry on the nose there, eh?
Well, for me, it's more light, fresh pears fruitiness. Very fresh.
I get the pear drops,
and it smells just like Glenlivet.
Right. Okay.
I'm not getting a huge effect of that Caribbean rum finish, but you never know, we might get that more on the palate.
Yeah.
It's an interesting colour. I would maybe say it was
a little bit lighter. It's a shade
lighter than the Balvenie, but probably darker than your average Glenlivet. If this was a non-age statement, this would probably equate with your Founder's Reserve.
Okay.
And that's what it smells like. With that lovely, fruity, fresh, ex-bourbon Glenlivet smell that I really enjoy. So, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, now that's interesting. That tasted nothing like I thought it was going to taste like. That is really weird. That's not a Glenlivet. you know, sorry, that's not a standard. That's not a Founder's Reserve. Or a, there's a bit of toffee in there and
I'm getting like a dark beer, porter ale. Yeah, like malt.
That is really weird. I was all ready, Jim, to not slate this, but just say that casks had no effect, or that finishings had no effect, just from the nose. And even going back to the nose, it's still that fresh, fruity, grassy, light. But then when you taste it, it's completely different. That is so weird. I've seen this at reasonable prices in the supermarket sometimes. And I tell you, the next time I see it, whoopsie down, that's in the trolley. That is really rather pleasant on the palate. And it is nothing like the nose. I don't know if you're getting the same kind of experience.
Yeah, I don't get any of that, like, it's still fresh, it's light, but I'm not getting pear drops or grass.
Nope.
I'm getting like a malty, almost like Maltesers sweetness. And you know, like when you have a really heavy ale, like a porter, I'm getting like notes like that out of it.
Well, that to me is almost like a toffee note and a toffee finish that is just not on the nose, and it is so sweet. Now, is that the rum cask finish there? I don't know, but that is.
I don't think so.
That's definitely not a Founder's Reserve.
I'm getting like
which was the Glenlivet went from 12 in non-age statement, and it's back at 12. And when it didn't have the 12, it had the Founder's Reserve as kind of the entry level Glenlivet, and it was a nice dram, nothing startling. But there's almost a now kind of a coffee raisiny kind of note, almost like a sherry cask. Oh, I like that. I didn't think that was going to be anything special. On the nose, I thought it was just going to be another Glenlivet. But that's really good. And you know what? I think that's probably one of the cheaper bottles.
Yeah, and to be honest, I've not. Glenlivet's got a particular sort of lightness to it and so on, where it's not necessarily always been one I would have asked for or lent on. But that one's really different.
It's really weird. I can't get over how different the nose is to the palate. Wow. Well, you've surprised me with that one, Jim. I thought that was going to be like down bottom of my list, maybe, but I'm not sure.
Drinking that Glenlivet has brought out this, so it's almost heavy duty fudge or Highland toffee.
What, the flagship?
Yeah.
See, that's a very, very light, grassy, fruity whiskey, and then heavy toffee notes on the flagship. Ooh, I rather like that. I think if I hadn't had 4 or 5 drams, I might be driving into the supermarket to buy one, but I think I'll get it tomorrow.
There you go.
Because we're all about responsible drinking here, aren't we, Jim?
We are. This is fun.
Yeah. Oh, that was good. Did you have a sip of Outlaw after that?
And it really brought out the fudge sort of toffee notes, almost like butterscotch popcorn.
Creamy toffee. That's nicer than it was, although it was nice. It was nicer than after the Balvenie. Go back to the Balvenie smell. it's not as nice for me now. It's weird, when you do this sort of relative tasting. It's really intriguing sometimes. Oh, no, I mustn't drink too much of that Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve because we've got another 2 to do. So
the next one is our Tomatin limited edition, 2007. Had 9 years, or at least 9 years in cask, but it's been matured only in Caribbean cask. Versus
now
others.
that is light.
But isn't Tomatin quite light anyway? I don't know if it's a filtering thing or not, but
yeah, I've got a Tomatin Legacy, which is their non-age statement, and it's in bourbon and virgin oak casks. That's a really nice dram for being a non-age statement. That's quite light.
Yeah.
I've got a Tomatin 14 as well, and it's got a lot of colour, but then that's a port cask finish.
Right. Okay.
The 18 will be a bit darker because that's an Oloroso sherry finish. So you can see that's quite dark.
Yeah. Oloroso sherry, that should be quite a red. They should be getting quite a...
But this one, for a 9-year-old, that is a very, very light whiskey for a 9-year-old.
Yeah. It's 46%, now.
Yes, 46, 9-year-old, and full maturation in an ex-rum cask.
Yeah.
I see there's not a huge amount on the nose.
What I'm getting at
is always quite a subtle whiskey.
See, I'm getting hints of rum agricole out of that.
Okay, I'm just getting wood. It's really woody, and I'm quite susceptible to wood notes that sometimes kind of overpowers the rest of the whiskey.
Right.
To the detriment of it.
I'm getting like pineapple cubes and a bit of banana skin. So some of your esters again.
Yes, there's a little bit of a banana note there. I can get that.
Yeah.
Vanilla from the cask. And quite woody, and not if I was to be scoring this, I wouldn't give this a huge score for the nose, but like we saw last time on that Glenlivet, the nose and the palate were completely different, so it might be the same this time.
I was surprised actually because it was one that I was kind of gambling on because, like I said, some of the Glenlivets, they've been very sherried or quite light, and something that I've been easy on. But that one, I'd happily buy that one again, I think.
I would. And especially if it's on one of these whoopsie prices that you see in Asda sometimes. Or on Amazon. Do you have alerts on Amazon telling you when?
Not really, no, not so much.
No, I did. I got 3 yard bags from Amazon.
All right.
The other night.
A
10-year-old, a 5-year-old wee beastie, and an unknown for 115 quid.
That's all right.
Which is not bad. So I'll keep an eye on Amazon. But yeah, let's taste the Tomatin. Not an awful lot going on.
To be honest, that tastes like whiskey, but not without rum.
Not even great. It's very nondescript. It's I hate the word, but it's quite smooth. It's quite gentle. It's not offensive. But what would you say? Nothing to write home about? Bit of toffee there on the finish. Very gentle finish.
Everything's light's not the right word, but there's nothing that's coming to the front there in terms of qualities you pick out. Everything's a bit subdued. It's got a subdued color, a subdued nose.
not
I'm
a
wondering,
huge amount on the palate, but
I'm wondering if it's something to do with the filtering that they do.
I mean, I've always found Tomatin quite a light whiskey, quite a light spirit,
Hmm.
and that the 14-year-old port is a bit woody for me because that kind of light spirit probably doesn't need as long in the cask. Now that second taste was a bit better.
Getting spice straight away and those sort of woody flavors, and then
Yeah, sort of toffee notes, fresh. Lots of vanilla now, which is pleasant. So nothing unpleasant, but nothing outstanding.
well, it's not like there's anything jumping out which makes you feel that that's actually been in a rum cask.
No, there's nothing screaming rum, is there?
No.
And how does it nose? No, Outlaw just boom. The nose is just booming out compared to that.
Yeah, see, now I get really rich toffee notes, like really heavy caramel or like tablet.
Yeah. And after smelling, God, that's weird. The Outlaw's almost smelling like burnt sugar, which I don't normally get.
Mm.
Oh, and almost burnt wood, which is really weird. But then I go back to the Tomatin, and it smells quite immature. Got immature notes on it. Like there's not a huge amount of wood effect in there.
Mm.
Oh, that is really weird. I can smell something as if something's burning in this Outlaw. And I've never smelt that before. Hmm. That's really weird.
No, just try to sip of the Outlaw once you've tried the Tomatin. It's just really bold, really big and
Bold, thick,
heavy.
in a good sense. Great mouthfeel. That Tomatin.
Bit of a letdown, huh?
You know, I don't know if it's a letdown, but it would be difficult to write a nosing and tasting about that, wouldn't it?
Maybe,
You know,
maybe
you could
just
probably use light, subtle. I don't know what nice terms you could use, but there's just nothing jumping out on there saying "drink me" or saying I was in a rum cask.
no.
And that's the one that was in a rum cask for 9 years.
Yeah.
It must be quite an exhausted cask then. Hmm.
So I go back to Balvenie, and already you got more spice there. You've got some more pineapple notes, some other stuff, and then the Glenlivet's just another level altogether.
Oh, you taste the Balvenie compared to that Tomatin, and that's altogether more complex, rounded, thick, bolder whiskey. Lots going on in there compared to the Tomatin. Like I said, the Tomatin is not unpleasant.
No,
You know,
it's not.
if somebody gave me a bottle of that, I could see myself being able to drink it and giving folks a dram with it, but not unpleasant, but just not a great dram. Hmm.
No. It's funny when I've tried that little bit of Glenlivet again. All I'm getting is like rich fruity notes with like a quite a sweet porter ale or something.
Oh, I really like that Glenlivet. Yeah, it smells just like, but that's really good. Very nice. Good choice, Jim.
Thank you.
But that's interesting that the one that is over 9 years in a rum cask. I couldn't have told you that was in a rum cask if we'd done this blind.
No.
I would have thought that was just I don't want to say it, but almost like a run-of-the-mill ex-bourbon tomatin. Nothing special, but not unpleasant.
You be interested to know what sort of rum cask or how long, because obviously depending on which country it is in the Caribbean, it depends how close it is to the equator.
Yeah.
So how much has the invasion gone in of the rum, and how much are you left of the cask?
And what kind of rum was it? Because one thing I've learned over the last 6 to 12 months doing these tastings and looking at my hundreds of samples there, it's like I always say, whiskey is not just whiskey and rum is not just rum.
No.
So many different types and styles of rum. It would be interesting to know what rum had been in that tomatin cask. So,
all right.
Okay.
Now, the final person in this is the Glen Murray small batch, which is a cask finish project, but it's done in a rum agricole cask from signed off by your good friend and someone who I've known a little bit is Graham Cool. So
my old mucker Graham Cool.
There you go.
We used to work together when we were 16 or 17 in the local shop. So me and Graham go back a long way. So I'm hoping this is a nice one because I like I like some of the things that Graham had been doing at Glen Murray, and I like what he's doing now over at Dingle. So I'm kind of hoping this is going to be a good one, Jim. But it's a non-age statement, isn't it?
Yeah, it's non-age statement, and it's not really got, obviously it's got the usual stuff. It's probably the most strongest. No, not the strongest. Is it? Yeah, no, it is the strongest.
Yeah, 46.3.
Yeah, so it's the strongest out of the 4 that we've got.
Yeah, and it's had a 2-year finish, I believe, when I looked on the website today.
Okay.
So 2-year finish in that rum cask, and but it smells like a Glen Murray. Now, if you can see behind me, well, it's actually right behind me. I've got about 10 or 12 different Glen Murrays because it's one of my favourite distilleries. So I know a Glen Murray, and that's that green, fresh, zingy Glen Murray nose with a bit of toffee and wood on it as well. So it'll be interesting to see how this tastes. So, Slange, I've been looking forward to this one. It's got that Glen Murray colour as well. It's almost yellowy green. Beautiful. Oh, yes.
That's got apples going on for apples going on for apples, eh?
That's your Glen Murray fermentation coming through.
So do they ferment for longer then? Have they got like a bigger cycle? I mean, I know there's a bit of a...
I think it's, reasonable. Not long fermentations, if I remember rightly, but reasonably long. And they're looking for a sort of fruity, green, fresh new make spirit. And then normally, more often than not, that's in an ex-bourbon cask, and then it'll add more fruit, and it'll add vanilla and sweetness. And then they've got loads of finishes that they're doing. They've done some fantastic stuff. But again, this is a Glen Murray for me, and it's lovely. Maybe it's a little bit sweeter than normal. Touch more woody. It doesn't taste too young. For a 46, it's nice. It's not harsh.
It's got more going on for it. But and just thinking back to our rum agricole experiment, which wasn't particularly positive for you or I, but I've got a little bit of that in the background. But to be honest, if it wasn't on there, I wouldn't have known.
No, I probably wouldn't either. I'm kind of thinking maybe, I can taste a little bit of rum in that, but I don't know if that's just because I know it's there. If I'd tasted it blind, I think that might have been That's just a lovely Glenmurray.
Yeah, because that's easily drinkable.
Yeah, I think it's older than their normal finish is the classic. It's interesting they've not got an age on it though.
Because I'm getting some
I'm looking at that colour, and it looks like, I'm trying to think. It looks like what the 12-year-old looks like. It doesn't taste like a young whiskey. You know, sometimes the Glenmurray Classic, you can taste that. That's a little bit young, but 5 or 6 maybe. I think this has got a bit more age about it. Maybe an 8 or a 9 or a 10 or something. I'll chum up Graham later and ask him how old that Elgin Curiosity Rum Agricole is.
Because I've got apples going on, and then I'm getting some pineapple cubes but very soft pineapple cube, and then some banana. So some of the esters coming through, not pear drops as such.
It's very fruity. So the character that we've got from the fermentation is not being overpowered by the wood. But there is almost is it like a brown sugar kind of sweetness there?
What, like
could be for the rum?
Like the caramel sauce for sticky toffee pudding.
Well, I'm just thinking sort of kind of brown sugar sprinkled on top of stuff. It's that sweetness, but kind of dark. It's difficult to describe. A dark sweetness, you know, not sugary sugar.
No, Demerara sort of.
Yeah,
that darker. Yeah,
and it's got a beautiful finish. Kind of toffee, creamy notes. That is a lovely dram. Well done, Mr. Cool.
Aye, that's a good one, that.
See, that's my third or fourth sip, and I'm almost thinking it's almost outlawish in its finish. Oh, sorry, the sparrowhawk just went past my window again. Yeah, that is. I'll have a little bit of my Outlaw. Again, the Outlaw's got, I think, compared to all 4 of those whiskies, the Outlaw has got more mouthfeel, more coating, oiliness coating on the mouth, and more bold flavors. Might be, what might be interesting to do, and I might try it later, Jim, is have a taste of that Glenmurray with a couple of Glenmurrays. A classic, a 12-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 16-year-old, and just see the difference. But that is a well-rounded quality dram, that. And I don't know if it's just my imagination or I'm willing myself to think it. But of all those ones, the one that has got a bit of rum notes in it to me is that Glenmurray Elgin Curiosity. That is another lovely dram. I think that would be my favourite out of the 4.
The only thing that I can imagine is maybe that Glenlivet's gone into a high ester cask.
Oh, with high ester rums. Right.
And so that's why we've got so much coming back. Whereas we know rum agricole is such a strong, almost nearly, harsh flavor can be. And yet with the whiskey, though, with the Glenmurray, it's really worked well.
No, I mean, Graham's done lots in his warehouse, and he has this kind of philosophy of a distillery manager that I really love. If it's not in your warehouse, you can't put it in a bottle.
Yeah.
So he tried lots of different experiments, and some of them, just you don't see what he's been doing. But that is a good one to have that had that in there for 2 years. Be very interested to see how old that is actually. But that's worked very well. The Balvenie, I just prefer the 12. I'm kind of biased, and I just prefer the 12-year-old double wood. I probably wouldn't get that Caribbean cask over that one. The Glenlivet Caribbean Reserve, what a surprise on the palate. And the Tomatin, not a lot going on there. But that Glenmurray.
I'd like to try a couple of the other Tomatins because this is the first time I've tried one. So for me, it's a bit of an experiment too. So I'd like to try some of the others. But yeah, the Glenmurray and the Glenlivet were the standout.
Yeah. Well, when we meet next week, Jim, I'll take you over a couple of samples of the Legacy and the 14, the ones that I've got open.
Okay, so
Martin, and you can try them with that.
That'd be good.
Yeah. Well, that was fun, though.
That was good.
But it is highlighting just that actually what you're trying to do is not make your rum taste like whiskey.
No.
That was always the kind of rationale right for the start. You're not trying to make another whiskey. And that just shows us, even though they've been in rum casks, completely different products. But whereas a lot of those whiskies, I don't think they've had the effect of the rum, I can get the effect of the whiskey casks on your Outlaw rum products.
The other thing for me that was interesting is some people feel that rum, probably because of the staple of Bacardis and all these that have come through for mixers and so on, and rum would be not complex enough or of bold enough characteristics, whereas doing this way round is very much on a par with these sort of 4 whiskies we've tried in terms of character, and it's not getting bowled over by it. It's not like it's overshadowed at all, and that if it's done right, it can be absolutely comparable to whatever finish of whiskey that you can.
That's fine in that flight of 5 drams there. No, it's not being pushed to the end of the line, as it were, and a lower quality. That's definitely a dram. That's the Outlaw flagship is definitely a dram you could sip on its own in comparison to all those other whiskies there.
That was fun.
Good. Well, that was great fun, Jim.
All right, mate.
So what we doing next time? Any idea? It'll be near Christmas next time.
It will be, eh? So that's a good idea. What do we still have scheduled to do? What do we think about doing? I mean, we haven't done the double cask yet, so we could do a double cask with others.
And like you say, that's just landed as well. That's just been bottled.
Yeah, so that's the Aberdeen Whiskey Shop did a very complimentary couple of posts on social media about it. But yeah, that was one that we waited patiently, and I was saying, well, let's try quarter cask with a full cask, and let's see how these sorts of things, and then go from there. Yeah, so that's been interesting.
That's been a good one, and that was really an exercise in blending.
Yeah.
Which I remember at the time when you took the samples and then we sort of blended it just at home, and tasting the stuff out of the 2 individual casks, it was good. But then when you put them together, it just seemed to lift each other up, didn't they? And the 2 parts was better than the whole, as they say. It was a strange one.
Yeah, and like individually, not one cask you would have said, oh, say Speyside quarter cask, oh, definitely bottle that. It wasn't like the Highland 200-litre cask. Oh, definitely bottle that. It was like you could be on the fence with all four of them, but if you put the Speyside and the Highland 200-litre together, as well as the 2 quarter casks of the same sort of distillery cask, they really did complement each other massively. It was great. That's been, and even when the guys were doing the bottling, they said the smells and the noses coming out of that, oh, it's fantastic. We always enjoy it when we're bottling your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I told you how I love being up in the warehouse with you recently, and the smell in a warehouse. But sometimes the smell in a bottling hall is just as good. I suppose it depends what you're bottling, but I've been in some bottling halls and the smell is just fantastic. So anyway, that was great, Jim. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And I'll look forward to the next one.
Yeah, next one will be sort of almost Christmas, I guess.
Yeah, so we'll see what we do there.
Yeah,
but that was great fun, Jim. It was good to see you.
And you, mate.
And enjoy your rums, whatever you're drinking over the next wee while.
Will do, and we'll see you next week.
We'll see everybody again soon. Yeah, see you for a coffee soon, Jim. Cheers.
Right, cheers.
Bye, everyone. Cheers.